Good morning, everybody. You're watching our mid-morning edition of Arirang News on this Wednesday, July 1st, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Shin Se-min. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at this hour. More new COVID-19 cases in cities across the nation, with the first school transmission spotted in Daejeon less than 2 months after nationwide face-to-face classes resumed. South Korea will begin using COVID-19 drug remdesivir on critically ill patients starting today. Details on the cost and the amount of the drug imported have not been disclosed. Plus, day one of the controversial national security law in Hong Kong, despite Western powers urging China to roll back its legislation. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam demands international respect for the legislation as it is added to city's basic law. Our starting point this morning, the latest confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in South Korea. The overall number of new cases added yesterday will be announced in moments' time, but as of this morning, the country's sixth largest city of Gwangju in Jeollanam-do province has added 7 new cases. And on top of that, 2 elementary school students in the central city of Daejeon have contracted COVID-19, marking the first confirmed instance of coronavirus transmission within the nation's school system. And local health authorities say they have come into contact with a fellow student who had the virus. Our Kim Do-yeon leading us off.
The first local cases of COVID-19 transmission within a school were reported on Tuesday. According to the city of Daejeon, 2 elementary school students were infected as a confirmed student had been attending the school for 3 days in late June. One is a classmate of the first student, and authorities say they were regularly in close contact. The other student is in a different class, but is believed to have shared the same gym as the first student. All 3 are 5th graders, which was one of the grades that returned to school last after other grades had restarted. Quarantine authorities have decided to test all of the school's 5th graders. The first confirmed student is believed to have come into contact with more than 150 students. All of them are due to be tested. The first student was confirmed to have COVID-19 on Monday. Officials say he caught it off another family member. The brother of the student, who is in the 3rd grade of middle school, has been confirmed to have the virus as well. The city of Daejeon has ordered over 100 large private academies and after-school venues to close. The city will also close 14 elementary and middle schools in the surrounding area and resume homeschooling for the students until August. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Starting today, patients in South Korea who are critically ill with COVID-19 will be administered remdesivir as part of their treatment. The Korea Centers for Disease Control said Wednesday that the experimental drug conventionally used to treat Ebola will now be available for badly ill COVID-19 patients. And patients that will be prioritized for remdesivir are those with pneumonia and those in need of oxygen. Details regarding the amount imported and the price were not disclosed as part of the deal between the drug maker Gilead Sciences and the Korea Centers for Disease Control. In a U.S. government-led study, remdesivir was found to have shortened recovery times by 31%, and so far it's the only drug authorized by federal regulators to treat COVID-19 patients. Also starting today, mandatory QR code scans will be required for all entrants to entertainment facilities across the nation to help health authorities track down customers should further COVID-19 transmissions occur within such venues. Now that means those wanting to enter facilities deemed high risk, like nightclubs, bars, singing rooms, and gyms, will be required to scan a QR code to share their personal data before entering the venue. QR entry logs have already been introduced at such facilities in the Greater Seoul area and regional cities. Health officials will conduct on-site inspections to make sure businesses are complying with the new guidelines, and violators will be fined up to $2,500. It's going to be a different summer, especially on the beach. Local governments prepared strict measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 while still allowing visitors to enjoy their holidays at these venues. Our Kim Da-mi with more.
Local beaches are preparing for a long, hot summer with strict virus prevention guidelines. Visitors to beaches in Gangneung must get their temperature checked and are given wristbands to prove they don't have a fever. They also have to show a QR code on their phone in order to use beach facilities such as showers and restrooms. Gangneung City will disinfect all its beach facilities 3 times a day. In addition, an online traffic light will track how crowded beaches are. A green light indicates the beach has the advised number of people. That's a maximum of 1 person for every 3.2 square meters of beach. Yellow is between 100 and 200% of the recommended number, and red over 200%. The traffic signal is updated every 30 minutes. 10 major beaches across the country will use the system from July 1st, and 50 other beaches will adopt the system by mid-July. Those who plan on visiting beaches in Jeollanam-do province must reserve their spots online. Sokcho Beach in Gangwon-do province will install automated disinfection systems that sense and spray disinfectant on visitors. Beaches will be closed at night and there'll be no summer beach festivals. 김다미, Arirang News.
7 South Korean government ministers will be taking part in an e-commerce live stream from this Wednesday to help local businesses sell their products. Each minister will act as a host to help sell items related to their own respective ministries. For instance, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries will aim to boost sales of dried seaweed. With the goal of supporting the economy as part of the nationwide Korea Dongheng sale, the event will run for 3 days. And the live stream will be available on various online platforms such as Naver and Tmon, with viewers able to interact with the ministers while making purchases. China has given the green light to a controversial law which would allow authorities to crack down on what it deems to be subversive and secessionist activity in Hong Kong. Now, the move was criticized by the U.S. and other Western powers, who urged Beijing to immediately withdraw the legislation. Our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
China's controversial national security law for Hong Kong took effect at 11 p.m. Tuesday, just an hour before July 1st, the 23rd anniversary of the territory's handover from Britain to China. It also came a matter of hours after Beijing's legislature passed the law. For the first time, Hong Kong has revealed the full scope of the law, which imposes penalties of up to life in prison. Despite widespread fears the law will undermine the liberties of people living in the global financial hub, Hong Kong's pro-Beijing chief executive welcomed its passage.
Despite the escalating tensions in society in recent years, I remain hopeful that with full conviction in one country, two systems, and upon implementation of the national security legislation, Hong Kong will ride out the political storm since last June and emerge stronger with stability restored. I and the Hong Kong SAR government are determined to capitalize on our strengths, harness the opportunities presented by our country's development, and provide Hong Kong people with brighter prospects.
She also urged the international community to respect the decision. However, the U.S. and other Western powers redoubled their efforts to pressure Beijing to withdraw the legislation. The White House released a statement Tuesday explaining that as Beijing now treats Hong Kong as one country, one system, so must the U.S. Dozens of other Western powers, including Britain, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, also raised concerns. Speaking on behalf of 27 countries, Britain's ambassador to the UN in Geneva addressed the UN Human Rights Council, urging China and Hong Kong to reconsider the law. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
U.S. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien is calling on North Korea to refrain from further provocations and return to talks. Speaking at a virtual seminar hosted by the Center for the National Interest on Tuesday local time, O'Brien admitted that denuclearization negotiations between Pyongyang and Washington have been slow, but reaffirmed that the U.S. remains open to, quote, dialogue and progress. He also added that the U.S. wants to see North Korea achieve a bright economic future under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, and U.S. President Donald Trump remains committed to enduring peace on the Korean Peninsula. A new strain of the swine flu has been found in pigs in China, making matters worse in this COVID-19 pandemic era. A study conducted by Chinese researchers shows that it has the potential to cross over to humans and become yet another devastating pandemic. Our Lee Seung-jae with more.
COVID-19 has inflicted a pandemic on the world that has infected over 10 million people and killed more than 500,000 in just over 6 months. While the COVID-19 pandemic appears far from over, a study by a team of Chinese researchers show a new flu virus found in local pigs has become more infectious to humans and needs to be closely monitored as it has the potential to go pandemic as well. The Chinese Foreign Ministry claims it's doing all it can to prevent the new virus from spreading.
China is closely following the developments in regard to this matter. We will take all necessary measures to prevent the spread and outbreak of any virus.
The new strain called G4EA-H1N1 descended from the swine flu that emerged in 2009, which caused the first global flu pandemic in 40 years. According to scientists, the new strain has been identified as having all the essential hallmarks of a candidate pandemic virus. Researchers who have studied flu viruses in pig populations between 2011 and 2018 say around 10% of swine industry workers who were tested in China had already been exposed to the virus. The initial swine flu that emerged in Mexico in 2009 is seen now as one of a variety of seasonal flu viruses and is included in annual flu vaccines. However, the current flu vaccine does not appear to protect humans from this new strain. Scientists say that while the world is distracted by the COVID-19 pandemic, it should not lose sight of this new and potentially dangerous virus, despite it not being deemed an immediate problem. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The COVID-19 pandemic is expected to have caused to a 14% drop in global working hours in the second quarter this year. That's according to the International Labor Organization, which explained Tuesday that this is an equivalent of 400 million full-time job losses globally, based on a standard 48-hour work week. Now, this is a sharp decline from the agency's May forecast of 10.7% drop during the April to June period. It said the United States was most severely affected with an estimated 18.3% drop or 70 million full-time jobs. Hyundai Motors subsidiary Hyundai Wia Corporation, an automotive engine unit, is building an engine factory in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. A ceremony to mark the start of construction was held on Tuesday local time, attended by the mayor of St. Petersburg and Hyundai officials. The factory will be able to produce 240,000 engines per year, and it is looking to use the site as a foundation for its expansion into the European market. And the firm has been using its Chinese plant to provide engines for its European factories, but this latest move will allow the firm to cut down on tariffs and logistics costs.
Good morning. Eastern parts of Gangwon province will see more rain for this afternoon, so expect to see 5 to 20 millimeters there, while we cannot rule out some scattered shower or two in the capital. And as the rain takes a break this afternoon, temperatures will rise in most parts. In fact, Seoul will notice much warmer daytime highs as the week moves along. And unlike this somewhat breezy morning we had, highs will rise fast, 2 to 5 degrees higher than yesterday, and we could see some sunshine picking up from behind the clouds. In fact, Daejeon will see very high to extreme UV levels this afternoon, so sunblock is a must if you're there. Monsoon rain returns to southern parts of the country on Sunday, and southern regions will see rain into early next week, while the capital will be warm and hot for the rest of the week and into the weekend. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for news around the world.
And that's our time at this hour on Arirang News, but we'll be back with more of the day's headlines, including the latest on the coronavirus situation here in the country and much more in our later newscast slated for noon Korea time. So stay close. As always, thank you for watching.